The rain pounded the streets of Chicago like it was trying to wash away the sins of the city. I stood under the flickering neon sign of O'Malley's bar, my jacket soaked through, regretting every decision that led me here on a Friday night. Then he appeared, tall, with a disarming smile that cut through the downpour, offering me a ride home that would unravel my carefully constructed life. His name was Ethan, the guy from the apartment next door who'd always nodded politely in the hallway. We'd exchanged small talk about the weather or the broken elevator, but nothing more. That night, as I slid into his beat-up Toyota, the air thick with the scent of wet leather and his cologne, I felt a spark I hadn't anticipated. "Rough night?" he asked, his voice steady and warm, eyes glancing over with genuine concern. I mumbled something about a bad date, but really, it was the weight of my secret pressing down. 25 years old, successful accountant by day, but still hiding who I truly was from my conservative family back in the suburbs. We drove in comfortable silence at first, the wipers swishing rhythmically. Ethan turned on the radio, low jazz filling the car, and started sharing bits of his life. He was a graphic designer, openly gay, unapologetic about it in a way that both intimidated and intrigued me. "You ever feel like you're living someone else's script?" he said suddenly, pulling up to our building. I nodded, my heart racing. Instead of a quick goodbye, he turned off the engine. "Come up for coffee? I make a mean brew." My mind screamed warnings, family expectations, societal judgments, but my feet followed him inside. The apartment was a mirror of mine but alive with personality. Posters of indie bands, shelves of books on art and philosophy, a rainbow flag tucked subtly in the corner. As he handed me a mug, our fingers brushed, and time slowed. We talked for hours about dreams deferred, the pressure of fitting in, the loneliness of the closet. Ethan shared his coming-out story, the rejection from his father that still stung, but also the freedom it brought. I confessed my fears. My parents' church friends, my sister's upcoming wedding where I'd be expected to bring a nice girl. The conversation flowed like we'd known each other forever. Vulnerability peeling away layers I'd kept hidden. By dawn, the rain had stopped, but something had started. Ethan walked me to my door, his hand lingering on my arm. "This doesn't have to be a one-time thing," he whispered. I didn't pull away. That morning, as I lay in bed replaying the night, I realized I'd crossed a line I couldn't uncross. Work the next day was a blur. Numbers on spreadsheets danced mockingly as my mind wandered to him. Lunch with my colleague Mark, a straight-laced guy from the office, turned awkward when he joked about those pride parades taking over the city. I forced a laugh, but inside, it burned. How long could I keep pretending? Evenings blurred into a routine. Ethan and I started sharing meals, takeout Thai on his couch watching old movies. His touch was tentative at first, a hand on my knee during a tense scene, then more. But it wasn't just physical. It was the way he listened, challenging my views without judgment. One night, over pizza, he asked about my family. "They're good people," I said, "but stuck in the past. Dad's a veteran, Mom's involved in the church. They think being gay is a choice, a phase." Ethan nodded, his eyes softening. "And what do you think?" I hesitated. "I think it's who I am, but admitting it means losing them." The conflict brewed slowly. My sister, Emily, called excitedly about her wedding plans. "Bring a date, Alex. Mom's already asking about your love life." I panicked, inventing a fictional girlfriend to buy time. Hanging up, guilt twisted in my gut. Ethan sensed it when I showed up at his door later. "You don't have to hide from me," he said, pulling me into a hug. In his arms, the world felt right, but outside, doubts loomed. What if someone saw us? Our building was full of nosy neighbors, and Chicago's gay scene was vibrant, but my world wasn't ready. As weeks passed, our bond deepened. We explored the city together, walks along Lake Michigan, coffee in Boys Town where Ethan held my hand openly. I flinched at first, scanning for judgmental stares, but his confidence was contagious. "Society's changing," he said one afternoon, as we watched a same-sex couple with a kid playing in the park. "But not fast enough for everyone." That hit home. Back home, my parents' calls grew insistent, probing about my girlfriend. Lies piled up, each one a brick in the wall between us. One evening, after a particularly grueling day at work where a client made a homophobic remark in a meeting, I vented to Ethan. "How do you deal with it?" I asked. He shrugged. "By being me. But it's not easy. Lost friends, opportunities. Worth it, though." His words lingered as I kissed him goodnight. That was the night I decided to tell Emily. Test the waters with her first. She was more open-minded, right? The call went better than expected. She was surprised but supportive. "I love you no matter what, Alex. But Mom and Dad, it'll be tough." Emboldened, I invited Ethan to a low-key dinner with friends. Mark from work was there along with a couple others. The evening started fine, but when Ethan casually mentioned a Pride event, Mark's face tightened. "You two, together?" he asked. I nodded, heart pounding. The silence was deafening. Mark excused himself early, and the next day at the office, whispers followed me. Promotions I'd been eyeing suddenly seemed out of reach. Was this the price of authenticity? The tension at work escalated like a slow-burning fuse. Mark avoided me in the hallways, his once friendly nods replaced by curt emails. Rumors spread, subtle at first, then overt. During a team meeting, the boss cracked a joke about diversity hires, and eyes darted my way. I buried myself in spreadsheets, but the isolation gnawed. Ethan noticed, of course. "Screw them," he said over dinner that night, his hand covering mine. "You're better than that place." But it wasn't just the job. It was the mirror it held up to society. Chicago prided itself on progress, yet pockets of prejudice lingered like shadows in alleyways. Family pressure mounted too. Emily, true to her word, kept my secret, but Mom's intuition was sharp. "You sound different, Alex. Everything okay?" She'd ask on our weekly calls. I'd deflect with work stories, but the guilt festered. Ethan encouraged me to come out. "Rip the Band-Aid," he urged one weekend as we hiked in a nearby forest preserve. The fresh air cleared my head, his presence an anchor. "What if they disown me?" I countered. He stopped, turning to face me. "Then you build a new family. With me." His words warmed me, but fear chilled the moment. We decided to take a trip, a weekend getaway to Door County, Wisconsin, to escape the city's noise. The drive was filled with laughter, playlists of our favorite songs, stops at roadside diners. At the bed and breakfast, the owners were welcoming. No questions asked about two men sharing a room. We explored cherry orchards, watched sunsets over the bay. For the first time, I felt free. Ethan proposed we make it official boyfriends out in the open. Lying in bed that night, stars visible through the window, I agreed. "Let's do this," I whispered. Back in Chicago, reality crashed in. A family dinner was scheduled. Emily's engagement party at my parents' suburban home. I debated bringing Ethan, but chickened out going alone. The house smelled of Mom's pot roast, Dad's cigar smoke lingering in the den. Relatives milled about, aunts pinching my cheeks, uncles slapping my back. "When are you settling down, son?" Dad boomed. I smiled weakly, dodging. Emily pulled me aside. "Tell them, Alex, or I will." Her eyes were fierce, protective. I didn't. Instead, I endured the evening, heart heavy. Driving home, I called Ethan, tears blurring the road. I couldn't do it. He was quiet. Then, "I get it. But how long can we live like this?" The question hung between us, a chasm opening. That week, arguments flared, small at first about plans, then deeper. "I'm proud of who I am," Ethan said one night. "I won't be your secret." I snapped back. "It's not that simple." Hurt flashed in his eyes, and he stormed out. Reconciliation came slowly. Flowers on my doorstep. A note. "Miss you." We met at a neutral spot, a coffee shop in Lincoln Park. "I love you," he said simply. It was the first time either of us had said it. My world tilted. "I love you too." We vowed to navigate it together. But society had other plans. At work, the boss called me in. "We've heard things, Alex. Clients are conservative. Maybe tone it down." I stared, incredulous. Tone what down? He shifted uncomfortably. You know. Fury rose, but I swallowed it, for now. Ethan's world wasn't immune either. His freelance gigs dried up after a client discovered his social media, full of pride posts. Bigots, he muttered, but the stress showed. We leaned on each other, attending a support group for LGBTQ professionals. Their stories echoed ours, discrimination masked as company culture, families fractured by outdated beliefs. One guy shared losing his inheritance over his orientation. It sparked debates. Was progress real or just surface level? Inspired, I planned to come out to my parents. Ethan helped rehearse the conversation. Lead with love, he advised. The day arrived, a Sunday brunch at their house. Emily was there for backup. As we sat around the table, pancakes uneaten, I took a breath. Mom, Dad, I'm gay. Silence exploded. Mom's fork clattered. Dad's face reddened. What? He thundered. This is a joke, right? I shook my head. Mom cried. We raised you better. Emily intervened, but the damage was done. Dad stormed out, Mom following, leaving me shattered. The fallout was swift. Calls went unanswered. Texts ignored. Emily relayed messages. They need time. Ethan held me as I broke down. They're wrong, he whispered. But doubt crept in, was I? Society's voices amplified. News of anti-gay bills in other states, protests clashing. Friends divided. Some supported, others distanced. Mark apologized awkwardly, but the office chill remained. Yet, in the chaos, our bond strengthened. We moved in together, combining apartments into one. Mornings with coffee in bed, evenings cooking together. Ethan's art flourished, inspired by our story. He designed a series on hidden lives, exhibiting at a local gallery. The opening night was a triumph, friends, allies cheering. But a familiar face appeared. My dad, standing awkwardly in the corner. Dad's presence at the gallery hit like a thunderclap. I froze, Ethan squeezing my hand. Go talk to him, he urged softly. I approached, heart hammering. What are you doing here? Dad shifted, eyes on the floor. Emily told me. Wanted to see for myself. His voice was gruff, but not angry. We stepped outside, the city hum muffling our words. I don't understand it, son, he admitted. But I miss you. Tears welled mine, then his. It wasn't acceptance, not yet, but a crack in the wall. Mom was harder. Weeks later, she called. Come over. Alone. I went, nerves frayed. She served tea, her hands trembling. The church says it's a sin, she said. But you're my boy. We talked, really talked, about scripture interpretations, love versus judgment. She hugged me goodbye, a small victory. Ethan celebrated with me that night. Progress, he toasted, but societal battles loomed larger. Chicago's Pride Parade approached, a flashpoint. Ethan wanted us to march. I hesitated. What if work ceased? Protests against it brewed. Conservative groups decrying indoctrination. News debated. Was pride necessary anymore, or divisive? Friends argued over dinner. One side claiming victory, the other highlighting ongoing hate crimes. Ethan was firm. Visibility matters. I agreed, stepping out of my comfort zone. The parade was electric, colors swirling, music pulsing. We held a banner for equality, cheers drowning doubts. But counter-protesters shouted slurs, signs waving biblical condemnations. A bottle flew, missing us by inches. Police intervened, but the fear lingered. That night, Ethan bandaged a cut on my arm from the scuffle. Worth it? He asked. I nodded. For us, yes. Work tensions peaked. A major client pulled out, citing personal values. The boss blamed me indirectly in a memo about professionalism. I confronted him. This is discrimination. He denied, but I lawyered up, joining a class action suit with others. Media picked it up, local news framing it as corporate versus individual rights. Debates raged. Were companies obligated to inclusivity or free to choose? Ethan's exhibit drew attention too. A reviewer praised its raw emotion, but online trolls attacked, calling it propaganda. He shrugged off most, but one threat unnerved us. An anonymous message promising consequences. We reported it, but paranoia set in. Locks changed, routines altered. "This is the fight," Ethan said, but his eyes showed weariness. Family reconciliation inched forward. Dad invited us to dinner. Mom cooked my favorites, awkward but trying. Conversation steered clear of hot topics at first. Then Dad asked Ethan about his work. "Art's subjective," Ethan replied. Dad nodded. "Like life." Laughter broke the ice, but undercurrents remained. Mom's church friends whispered, pressuring her. A bigger storm brewed. Emily's wedding. Invites went out, and mine included a +1. "Bring him," she insisted. Parents agreed reluctantly. The day arrived, flowers, vows, tears. Ethan in a suit beside me, hand in mine during dances. Relatives stared, some warmly, others coldly. An uncle pulled me aside. "This ain't right, boy." I stood tall. "It is for me." The reception buzzed with murmurs, a microcosm of society's divide. Post-wedding backlash hit. Mom's church group confronted her, calling our presence disrespectful. She defended us, but it cost friendships. Dad faced barbs at his veterans club. "Soft on sin," they jeered. He pushed back, evolving. Ethan and I discussed marriage, legal in Illinois, but controversial in circles. "One day," he said, but doubt resurfaced. A late-night argument. "Are we forcing change too fast?" I asked. Ethan sighed. "Change doesn't wait." We made up, but the question lingered. Society's conflicts mirrored ours. Bills passing for protections, others rolling back rights. News of a gay bashing in the suburbs shook us. "Could be us," I whispered. Ethan proposed a bold move. Volunteer at a youth center for LGBTQ kids. Their stories gutted me. Teens disowned, bullied. One boy, like me once, hid his truth. Mentoring him, I saw my past. Ethan shone, organizing art therapy. It grounded us, purpose amid chaos. Yet, a pivotal clash came. My firm settled the suit, but offered me a transfer, code for demotion. I quit instead, starting freelance consulting. Freedom tasted sweet, but uncertain. Ethan supported, his gigs rebounding. We hosted a housewarming, mixing friends from both worlds. Tensions flared when a conservative pal debated pride's excess. "It's celebration after oppression," Ethan countered. The room divided, arguments heated but civil. The housewarming debate lingered like smoke, exposing fractures. My old friend Tom, from college, emailed apologies but distanced himself. "Not my scene," he wrote. Losses accumulated, subtle exclusions from family events. Ethan's cousin unfriending him online, but gains 2 new allies, deeper bonds. Society's mirror reflected both progress and pushback. We dove deeper into activism. Ethan designed posters for a rally against a proposed religious freedom bill that could allow discrimination. I spoke at the event, voice shaking. "Love isn't a threat," I declared. Cheers erupted, but counter-protesters booed. Media covered it, my face splashed online. Clients hesitated, but others sought me out for my stance. Family dynamics shifted. Mom attended a PFLAG meeting, learning. I was wrong, she admitted over coffee. Dad grumbled but joined her once. "For you," he said. Emily's husband, surprisingly supportive, hosted a barbecue where Ethan grilled burgers, chatting sports with Dad. Normalcy peeked through, but controversy struck personally. Ethan's ex, a closeted exec, resurfaced, jealous. He outed Ethan to a mutual client, costing a big contract. "Revenge," Ethan muttered. We confronted him at a bar. Words flew, accusations of betrayal. "You chose the easy path," the ex sneered at me. I fired back. "Hiding's easy. Truth's hard." The encounter rattled us, questioning loyalties. Broader conflicts echoed. Supreme Court rulings on LGBTQ rights divided the nation. Celebrations in cities, outcry in heartlands. Friends argued online, Equality won versus fights ongoing. Ethan and I hosted discussions, fostering dialogue. One guest, a trans woman, shared workplace horrors, sparking empathy. Our relationship tested further. A health scare. Ethan's routine checkup revealed a lump, benign but terrifying. Hospital waits, hand-holding amid beeps. Can't lose you, I whispered. It bonded us, priorities sharpening. Post-recovery, we traveled New York for Broadway, San Francisco for history. In Castro, we kissed publicly, unafraid. Back home, career pivots paid off. My consulting boomed with progressive firms. Ethan landed a teaching gig at an art school, inspiring youth. We mentored that teen from the center, helping him come out safely. His parents' reaction? Mixed like mine. Change takes time, Ethan said. Yet, a major rift emerged. Dad's veterans group hosted a speaker decrying woke agendas. He attended, conflicted. Over dinner, he confessed. They make points. Debate ensued. Tradition versus inclusion. Veterans fought for freedom for all, I argued. He pondered, evolving slowly. Society's flashpoints intensified. A school board battle over LGBTQ books in libraries. Parents clashing. We volunteered reading to kids. Protests outside. Protect innocence. Versus teach acceptance. A heated exchange with a protester. My son's gay. Your hate hurts. She paused, perhaps reconsidering. Personal growth culminated in a proposal. On our anniversary by the lake, Ethan knelt. Marry me? Tears, yes. Planning sparked joy and drama. Family involved. Mom helped with invites. Dad walked me down the aisle. Debates. Traditional or modern. Relatives RSVP'd variably, some boycotting. Wedding prep unearthed old wounds. An aunt called. Sinful. I hung up. Ethan soothed. Their loss. Venue issues, some churches refused, others welcomed. We chose a garden-neutral ground. Invites specified. Love wins. The day neared, nerves high. Rehearsal dinner. Toasts, laughter, but undercurrents. Dad pulled Ethan aside. Take care of him. Ethan nodded. Always. The wedding day dawned clear, Chicago's skyline gleaming. Guests gathered in the Botanic Garden, flowers blooming defiantly. I paced, suit crisp, Ethan waiting at the altar. Emily straightened my tie. Proud of you. Walking down the aisle with Dad, his grip firm, eyes misty. Vows exchanged. Promises of forever amid societal storms. Rings slipped on, kiss sealing it. Cheers erupted, but not all. A few empty seats spoke volumes. Reception flowed, dances, cake, speeches. Mom toasted. Love taught me. Friends mingled. Debates simmering but celebratory. Ethan's art adorned tables, symbols of our journey. As we swayed to our first dance, whispers faded. This was us, defiant, real. Honeymoon in Hawaii. Beaches, sunsets, reflection. We did it, Ethan said, waves crashing. But news intruded, another rights rollback. Fight continues, I replied. Back home, married life settled. Careers thrived. Community deepened. We adopted a dog, symbol of family. But conflicts persisted. A neighbor complained about our pride flag. Offensive. We kept it up. Work challenges. A client balked at my status. Personal choice, I said, losing the deal but gaining respect. Family fully embraced? Not quite. Holidays mixed. Warmth with awkward silences. Dad debated politics less, listened more. Mom baked for our anniversaries. Years blurred, but the core remained. Love amid adversity. Ethan's health stable, our bond unbreakable. Mentoring evolved into advocacy, speaking at schools, challenging norms. Looking back, the night he brought me home sparked it all. Choices, conflicts, growth. Society shifted incrementally. More acceptances, lingering prejudices. Was it all worth the pain, or does true change demand too high a price?